Hi and welcome to this video, which is all about the postpartum period, the very important fourth trimester. I am so excited to talk to you about this because I hope that I can really instill some amazing tips that you can take on board for yourself. It's a really pivotal time where you can spend time bonding with your baby, looking after yourself and nourishing you as the new mother. Whether this is your first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth child, this time you cannot get back. So it's really important that you give yourself the gift of this time. I have gathered so many tips from mothers all across the world and I've written them all down and I've got them here for you to share with you, and so that you've got a place here in this video where you can refer back to and make sure that you know and savour all these tips for yourself. I'm going to first of all start with some tips that I've written down, and then I'll go into the tips that all the other mothers have shared with me. So they're in no particular order. I've just written them down as they've popped into my head. And yeah, let's just begin. The first one I wanted to share with you is actually something to just set the scene of this whole video. When I had just given birth to Nico, this lady on Instagram messaged me this and said, in Ireland, this is one of the sayings and the tradition that used to be, and hopefully is still continuing to happen now. And she shared it with me, and it's this. After you've given birth to the baby, you have 1 week in the bed, 1 week on the bed, 1 week around the bed, and 1 week in the house. And I don't know if you've looked into this fourth trimester period and read any books on it, but I read the first 40 days. I haven't read it all, but I read a good amount of it when I had just given birth to Nico. And I was like, yes, you know what, I'm going to do this for myself this time. With my other two pregnancies, and after I gave birth to Hugo and Remy, I felt like there was this kind of pressure to get up and at it pretty quick. And there is this pressure in the Western world to do that, to bounce back, to get out walking, to wear the clothes that you used to wear pre-pregnancy. It's almost like there's a rush to do everything. Whereas in Eastern culture, after a woman gives birth, it's quite a big tradition still in Eastern culture now, where all the women come and surround her. They take care of all the household jobs, the cooking, the cleaning, looking after the other children, while the new mother has this beautiful time to heal, to nourish herself, to bond with the baby. And even these women around her, they look after the baby so the woman, the new mother, can sleep. And I just think, oh, how lovely would that be for the first few weeks of you stepping into new motherhood, to have this team of women who are just there to look after you. Like, I would love that. In Western culture, however, it's not as much of a massive thing, and I really hope that it starts to come back into our culture. So after reading all about the fourth trimester, I made it my mission this time to try and stay in the house for as long as I could. We have been in lockdown, so that's been easier. And I also made sure that I didn't say yes to lots of different visitors. Well, really, that was taken out of my hands because visitors weren't allowed in lockdown. But let's continue with the tips. The next tip that I would give you is to have as much skin to skin as possible. Skin to skin is not just beneficial for the baby, but for you as well. There are so many health benefits to skin. It reduces stress, it helps with hormones, it helps the baby's breathing, and just this connection between mother and baby. Research it, skin to skin benefits, and there's lists and lists and lists of it. So just make sure that you give yourself plenty of that. It's not just for the baby, it's for you as the new mother as well. And what I really enjoyed doing was having big dressing gowns that I could put over both of us, or big baggy jumpers that I could put over both of us, or just the quilt as well. So yes, enjoy all that skin to skin. You can never have too much skin to skin, so just know that. This next tip is brilliant for healing, especially if you've had stitches and it's a bit sore down there. Salt baths. Now, when someone first mentioned this to me, I was like, salt in a bath, that's gonna sting. But no, it doesn't sting at all. It's the most soothing feeling ever. It was like my morning ritual. And actually sometimes I'd have 2 baths a day, 2 salt baths a day. And it was just something I really, really look forward to. It helped just soothe so much, and it was great for healing. Obviously, you take from this video what you will. You try things, check with your medical healthcare professionals. But for me, this is what I did. I put salt in, lots of salt, and I also use lavender oil as well, because lavender can help with healing. But obviously check for yourself. If things aren't right for you, then don't use them. And stay in them for about 10 minutes, or just check however long feels good for you. But I think, especially if you've got stitches, you don't want to stay in there for a prolonged period of time. But 2 10-minute baths are great, morning and night, and at least then you'll be all comfortable and soothed, ready for sleeping at night as well. Next tip, stay in bed for as long as you can. If you can only just stay in bed for the first week, write that off as you are staying in bed. You are not doing anything else. You're not doing any house jobs, any cooking, cleaning, anything like that. You're just looking after you and your baby and letting your body heal, rest, and just be comfortable in your own bed. So write that week off. Please, please, please just rest, especially that first week if you can't do it for any longer. But of course, I encourage you to do that for a lot longer than 1 week. Say no to visitors. And I say this with so much love and respect for yourself. If you feel like you don't mind certain people coming to see you, like maybe close family members, mums or sisters, brothers, or that, you know, those kind of family and friends, then be really, really out there and say, yes, come round. But if you come round, treat this home as your home. Make me a brew whilst you're making yourself a brew. Bring around some tea for me, you know, say these things. Don't be getting up trying to make the house all perfect, trying to make yourself look perfect, trying to look after them. They should be looking after you. So make that clear that you are not going to be making anyone brews, coffees, whatnot, that they should be doing that for you. So yes, make that clear. Say no when you want to say no. No, you know within yourself when you're ready to see certain people, and really honor that. And if some people are persistent and you really are not ready to let these people into your home, stay true to your word, stay true to how you feel, and be really strong with that. I'll tell you a story. When I had Hugo, I had, you know, we all have acquaintances, people who you just say hi to and are friendly with, but they're not in your close circle of friends. Anyway, they rang me up and they said, and this was about 5 days after I just got home after having Hugo, saying that they were on their way to come and see me and Hugo and to drop off a present. And at this point, I had greasy hair and no makeup, in my dressing gown. The house was a mess. I just didn't feel on top of anything. And I was like, oh no, sorry, now's not a good time. If you can come another time. They're like, oh, we're already on our way. It's okay. We won't stop long. We'll just literally pop in. And inside, I just felt like bursting into tears. But anyway, in that mad dash, I was like, try and get everything away, get dressed, put some clothes on, and try and make myself look decent. And then it was more me looking after them, making them brews. And because we weren't that close, it wasn't like they were comfortable enough to, you know, like really see to my needs. And they ended up staying a lot longer than I wanted them to. Like, it was over an hour, and yes, that was a big lesson to me. I was like, I am not doing that again. I'm standing firm with what I want to do, because you just don't want that pressure. You want to feel really comfortable, and preferably you just don't want any visitors unless they're there to look after you as well. So yes, no to visitors unless it's a wholehearted yes, mind, body and soul from yourself. Ask for support. So I kind of mentioned that in that last tip. See if family and friends can bring you meals. If anyone says, oh, can I bring you anything? Is there anything you want or need from the shops? Just be like, you know what? Yes, please can you sort out tea for tonight or dinner, whatever you call it. That would be great. Thank you so much. And don't feel guilty. People feel good when they're giving, and they shouldn't really offer it if they don't mean it. So take people up on their offers and ask for it anyway, you know, especially if this is your second, third, fourth child. You may already have lots of things for the baby. So if people do say, what can I get for the baby? Just say, do you know what? We're fine. But if you can sort out tea for a night or two, that would just be so lovely. Thank you. Or pay for a cleaner to come round and clean the house so you don't have that stress on you, or for them to help you clean the house and do jobs around the house, do a load of washing. You know, people can help you like this. And I, for one, knowing how it made me feel when people did that for me, I would gladly help other mothers in that way as well, especially if I had the time. Obviously, at the moment, now I've got a newborn and children, you know, my life is pretty hectic, but I would still love to offer the little small things that I can do to help other new mums. But yeah, don't, like, this is your right. In Eastern cultures, women do this anyway. So let's try and bring more of this kind of culture back to the Western side of the world, and where the mother feels looked after. Yeah. Snacks by the bed. Yeah, so make sure that you've got loads of snacks, drinks, everything that you need around the bed, so you don't need to be going down to the kitchen or, you know, asking for things all the time, and just making sure that you're well fed, especially if you're breastfeeding. It's really important to keep your calories up, to keep your milk flow up. I will leave the link to the book, The First 40 Days, but that's got recipes in there to help with hormone imbalances, getting your milk flow up, feeling good, happy, all these different recipes in there. So maybe have a look at that book and try out a few of the recipes. You may need to get a few different ingredients that maybe you haven't bought before. But yeah, I really enjoyed making a few of those different smoothies and dishes and things like that. This next tip is about vitamins and supplements that are quite good, especially just after you've had a baby, when you may be low and deficient in a few different areas. Again, look into these yourself. Don't take what I say as Bible truth, and just make sure that you only take what you need from this. But iron, because we lose a lot of blood just after we've given birth and through birthing, and we have a pretty big period straight after we've given birth. So it's really important to keep your iron levels up. So iron, but only take iron if you are low in iron, because you don't want to be too dosed up. Vitamin D, because we are getting lack of vitamin D due to not enough sun and all of these things. So vitamin D, calcium, arnica tablets. Arnica tablets are great for healing. They're a natural remedy which I've taken with each of my healing processes after birth, and I've found that they've really helped. Whether it's placebo, I don't know, but I just get them anyway. Arnica tablets, probiotics, fish oil, and lots of olive oil in your food. It's so good for you and the baby. So yeah, all of those. Don't worry about what you look like. I know this can be quite hard sometimes, especially if you're scrolling through Instagram and you're seeing all these gorgeous new pictures of mums looking amazing, holding their newborns, and you're feeling like you haven't had a shower in a while, or your hair is greasy, all of this kind of thing. Just put it to the back of your mind. It doesn't matter. So just don't worry what you look like. You are there to look after yourself and your baby, and just be super kind to yourself. Love yourself. Drink lots of water. Now, drinking lots of water is obviously important for reasons that you probably know, but also for pooing, because after you've had a baby, the pooing situation can be rather tricky and something that we fear. And a tip that my mum said to me just after I had my first child, she said, when you need the toilet, just don't push at all. Just let it come out in its own time. And that was such an amazing tip that I've taken through each time. And even this time I was like, okay, yeah, let's just remember those words because it is completely different. And again, there's a lot of healing taking place around all of that area as well. So when it comes to finally having the urge to poo, don't push, just allow your body to take as long as it needs to do it on its own. That way you won't have it'll be the least amount of pain that you could go through, you won't do any damage or anything like that. And you know, every woman goes through this. I haven't spoken to one woman yet who hasn't been through that, so please know that you're not on your own. We don't really talk about this as a society, so when it happened to me the first time, I was like, oh my goodness, no one told me about the after effects of the pooing situation. So yeah, I'm talking about it now. So just make sure that you give yourself enough time to do that. You're not rushing or feel under pressure to do it in a certain amount of time, and just let your body do it. And I promise you, after a couple of weeks, you'll feel so much better. After the first time as well, you'll be like, oh, I'm glad that's over and done with. Again, on the toilet talk, after having a wee, especially if you've had stitches, just pat dry. You don't want to wipe. And yeah, just do that for as long as you need, and just be really gentle with yourself. And someone else, well, I'll leave that in the tips later, but someone said to pour water at the same time as having a wee. I haven't actually tried that, but I can imagine that that would be quite soothing. Take lots of pictures of you and your baby and of the baby, and take lots of little videos as well. Sometimes we forget about the videos, but when I look back, it's actually the videos I love to watch back, just to see their little movements, their faces, and to really see what they look like. To see their relationship with me when they're, you know, skin to skin. Just take little 5-10 second videos, pictures, and I know you won't feel amazing, but they are so precious to look back at. You will thank yourself, so don't shy away from that. If you're not a picture kind of person, then I encourage you during this time to just do it anyway, whether you feel amazing or not. They are so precious, and it's such a beautiful time to remember of how tiny your baby was. Like, put them in the palm of your hand on your chest and just take little pictures of how they've grown since then. You will thank yourself for it. If you're breastfeeding, then I encourage you to buy a few comfortable bras, bralettes, crop tops that you can breastfeed in, or you know, the strappy tops that have the little, like a crop top inner lining in it. So you can put breast pads in and they'll stay there and not fall down. But yeah, having comfortable things that you can sleep in, because I normally obviously don't sleep in a bra, but when I'm breastfeeding I can't not, because otherwise milk would just go all over the bed. I leak quite a lot, especially if maybe Nico hasn't fed when he normally does and it's a bit later and the milk starts to come out. So yeah, I need to wear things that breast pads can stay in, but also comfortable, not too tight, and yeah, that kind of thing. So just make sure you got a few of those to hand to help you through the night when you're sleeping, and also through the day. Sometimes they're just way more comfortable than actually wearing bras or anything too tight like that. Big black knickers and big pads because after you're giving birth, generally every woman has a really big period to just get rid of everything that is still in there, and the bigger the better when it comes to knickers and pads. So make sure you've got plenty of those to hand. I'd say at least 2 big packs of the maternity pads. Depends how long you bleed for, but for me it was I think I had to use pads for about 4 weeks this time. With my first it was 6, and Remy, I think it was about 4 as well. Obviously it gets lighter and lighter and lighter, but yes, you need them long as well for when you're sleeping. So just make sure you've got full coverage, fully supported, big, and the bigger the better basically when it comes to knickers and pads. This is a big one, and we often get told when we are holding the baby, don't hold the baby too much, you'll spoil the baby, it'll just want to be held all the time. But it's just not true. Like, hold your baby as much as you want. You can't hold your baby enough, basically. So even if you held your baby all day, it's completely fine. It's what you need and it's what the baby needs. They have just come from this snug, comfortable place inside your womb to this big open world, and the safest and most comforting place for them is in your arms, lying on you with their ear close to your chest so they can still hear your heart beating. So just eradicate any of those sayings, or if anyone says it to you, just know that it's not true and that you can hold your baby as much as you want, and it's as much for you as it is for the baby. And this time, this is what I did. I just completely embraced holding Nico as much as I wanted, and it just felt so good. And you know what, he's so chilled and he's so calm, and I think it really helped him just feel really secure in this world, and I thoroughly enjoyed it as well. And even on those days where I felt really hormonal, crying, and I'd just hold him, and it was like such a comfort for me as well. So yeah, hold your baby as much as you want to. Fear not that you're holding them too much. It's not true. Rest, rest, rest. Yes, don't do any jobs. I've said this before, but just rest as much as you can. Put your feet up and just enjoy this time with nothing else to do but fully look after you and your baby. Jobs can wait, washing can wait. You can get people in to help you with that kind of thing. Get your mum in, other friends, family, just get them to support you, and just put those kind of things at the back of your mind. If you're like quite a neat and tidy person, I totally get it. Like, I like things in its place, but this time is way more important than mess right now. You need to look after yourself. You need to look after your baby, and this bonding time you cannot get back. There is always mess. There are always endless jobs to do, aren't there? Washing galore, always. This time you cannot get back. So give this time to yourself. You are number one here. You are the number one tick list on that list of to-do. So make sure you prioritize this time for you and your baby. Moving on to this, like I was saying with holding your baby as much as you can, cry as much as you want. When the tears come, allow them. Tears are so healing. They are like soothing your soul. If you hold them back and try not to cry when you really want to cry, you're not doing any favors for yourself. So just let them flow, let them come out of you, and let yourself ugly cry if you want to, if you need to. It's so good for you. And you know, your hormones are all over the place. They really are. I went through days and I was like, is this postnatal depression? And it's not. It's like, even if it was, it's fine. But you know, we just need to cry sometimes. Oh, we've been through such an incredible journey, such a powerful journey, and it's a lot to process. And sometimes it's just like these tears of overwhelm, of love, and I can't believe this baby is in my hands. So just allow them to flow. Journal about it, talk about it. You don't know why you're crying, but you're just crying. Just let yourself do it because it feels so good. And you know, when I had days like this, I shared it on social media, and it wasn't that I was really down. It was just I had a day where I couldn't stop crying. And you know, other things you may be triggered by certain situations or by what someone says, or your husband has done something, you know, triggered a lot more quickly and easier than you would be normally. And that's okay. Sometimes the triggers are great because it also releases all these other things that you just need to let out and cry. And yeah, it's all good. It's all fine. Let yourself cry. Let yourself feel every emotion. You know, we are a spectrum of different emotions. We cry because we can and because it's good for us. If we didn't cry, that's not normal. So yeah, allow yourself to feel everything. Laugh, smile, cry, be down sometimes. That's completely normal and completely okay. So accept it all for what it is, and know that emotions move. They are moving energy, emotion. Energy in motion. That's all it is. So if you can breathe through a minute and a half, the emotion generally changes and passes into something else. So yeah, allow it all, embrace it all, feel it all, and process it all. This is an interesting one, and I didn't actually realise it was a thing, but trumping more after you've had a baby, it's actually a thing. Did you know that? I'm not sure. No one ever talks about this, but it came up on when I was just doing a bit of research before, and I was like, yeah, it is actually a thing, and it passes. Excuse the pun. But yeah, no, wind does pass. If you are experiencing, or you do experience that you have more wind after you've given birth, just give it a few weeks and honestly, it will all settle down. It's the process of being pregnant and giving birth and everything like that, everything that your body has been through. For some reason, it produces more wind and it comes out, well, for me, after giving birth. But then it's completely settled down. It just doesn't really happen for me anymore. Also, because I'm celiac, I don't eat gluten, and wheat is quite a big culprit of wind, which I don't eat anyway. But yeah, anyway, moving on. Just so you know, I just wanted to mention that in case you thought this is not good. I'm producing more wind at the moment. You're not on your own, and it will pass. Pain medication, so your ibuprofen, painkillers, paracetamol, whatever you have to help your pain. I took mine for about 5 days, and then after that I didn't need them anymore. So I ended up just having them once a day sometimes as well. I didn't need them, you know, with the clockwork of every 4 hours or 8 hours, I think it was, if you had both of them together. But yeah, just make sure you've got plenty of those to hand, because it does really help with the stitches and the uterus contractions as your uterus is shrinking down. Our bodies, unfortunately, still have a few more painful things to go through, and if medication can help ease that, then I would definitely use it. And maybe like a hot water bottle as well, just to give your back a bit of nice comfort, or on your belly. It's nice to have any comfort measures in, and also that's why baths are amazing for this kind of thing, because it just all helps you to relax and eases pain and helps aid any discomfort and those kind of things. Back onto breastfeeding again. Getting the right latch is so important, and even though I know this and I've gone through 2 great breastfeeding journeys with my other 2 children, I know what the right latch is. I know what to do, the nose to nipple, and how you're supposed to hold them and all of this kind of thing. But when you have a newborn and they're just, you know, trying to find the nipple, and it's such hard work actually finally getting them on the nipple, sometimes it can feel quite, it's actually really hard to get the perfect latch every time. So you probably will get sore nipples. As much as I knew what the best latch was, I still got cracked nipples, and my gosh, it is the most painful thing, like toe curling pain. It's so painful having cracked nipples. So make sure you got that Laniso or some sort of nipple cream to hand to help you with that, and know that that too passes. I say give it 2 weeks, and you know you got through the tough, painful bit, and hopefully it'll all be good after that. Keep persevering if you're in that and you're feeling that and you're like, I don't know if I can go on because it's too painful. You can also buy nipple shields, which are amazing. For me, my friend got some of those, but I knew that it would pass in another couple of weeks, so I was just like, I'm just going to persevere. And it did. It is all fine. And if you're, I'm going to tag a link down below if I can find it, and it's a link to the perfect breastfeeding latch video, and it's about this guru who works with women to get the right latch with feeding babies and things like that. So it's really, really good. So watch that if you're struggling. And also there is so much support out there for lactating mothers and for breastfeeding, and help in all of that area. But one little trick is, if you know that like the lips are in, I used to just, and I still do it now, I flick the lips up that way. So instead of them like that, feeding, I'll try and get the lips and just lift the lips out so they've got more of a bigger suction. And you can use your little finger on the side of the mouth like that to release the latch and to help, hopefully, that they open their mouth and get a better and bigger latch on your nipple again. So yes, breastfeeding support, there's loads out there. Just make sure that you are getting the right support, especially if you're struggling and you're going through a bit of a painful situation. You might just need a little bit of support, encouragement to get you through that time, but know that it's completely normal and you're not on your own. And if you can, persevere, because it should all come good. Yes. Write down your birth story or talk it out loud to someone. Speak it in a video, you know, do something in the first month. Try and do something where you know that you're not going to forget anything and you got it all there. It just helps not only you process it, but sometimes you quickly forget little parts of your birth story, because our amazing hormones and whatever goes on in our brains as birthing women, we forget little things of what went on. Even I did, and because I had a birth photographer this time, it was actually only when looking through the photos I was like, oh, I forgot about that part, and that's what helped me remember. But if you haven't got that, you easily forget different points of your labour story and you know what happened. And it's also important, and especially if you had a traumatic birth, it really helps you to process it so it doesn't stay stuck in your body. There are lots of people who are there to help you if you have had a traumatic birth experience, to help you process that, because that's what you don't want. I didn't really share mine with Hugo because I was quite traumatized by it, and it did stay stuck in my body, so I actually had to process it only last year before I had Nico, to enable me to really step into the empowerment journey of what I am capable of. So do make sure that you process that, talk to someone about it. I also coach women and I help women go through this journey as well. So I'm here as well if you wanted to contact me and book in an appointment with me. I'm happy to do that. And as you know, I've been through 3 different birth scenarios, 3 different birth situations that have all been completely different. So and my first one definitely didn't go to plan, and yes, it's really hard to process, and sometimes it just helps having a listening ear and to know that it wasn't your fault. And that's a big thing. It's never your fault. It's not your fault what the experience that you go through, so know that, and take whatever you need from that as well. And sometimes just talking about it to someone where you can really go into everything, it really just helps it be out there instead of locked in here. Yeah. Okay, this is a really big one, and it's something that really helped me with the recovery and healing. And I didn't do this for the first week, and after a week I was like, I still feel really heavy, kind of in my bottom area, pelvis, you know, this kind of heaviness, and I don't remember it lasting that long with the first 2. But what I forgot about, and my midwife reminded me of, she said, have you been doing your pelvic floor exercises? And I was like, no. She was like, that is the only answer. That is what is going to help you feel better. And I completely forgot for some reason. With the first 2, I did them every time I breastfed. I did these pelvic floor squeezes. Anyway, I started doing them, and literally within 2 days, I felt so different. That kind of heaviness had started to lift straight away, and I felt so much better. So pelvic floor squeezes, and my biggest tip is to do this every time you feed your baby, whether it's bottle or breastfeeding. Just do a few pelvic floor squeezes, and this is what I do. You don't need to copy, but I kind of do it, you know, like when your weight, I don't know if you ever did toning exercises and things like that, but I do the same with pelvic floor squeezes. So to begin with, I do 16 short like squeezes, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and squeeze the pelvic floor inside. And then I do 8, but I'd count 1, 2 to try and draw it up, and then let go 1, 2, 8 of those. 1, 2, hold it, 1, 2, let go. And even if you let go before you intend to let go, the intention is there, and then soon enough you will be able to hold it and you'll feel it that you're holding it, rather than, oh, it's already let go and I didn't realise. Because you will feel like that as well, I think. Well, I did anyway. So I do 16 short, 8, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then I do 4, 1, 2, 3, draw up, let go, 1, 2, 3, draw up. The fourth count is the let go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I swap it over. 1, 2, 3, 4 as you let go. 1, draw up, 2, 3, 4. So I do 4 of those, and then another 4 of the up, and then slowly let go. And then I do 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, draw up, 4, let go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 of those. And then I do 2 where you try and hold it for 8 seconds at the top and then let go. And then to finish, either 8 quick squeezes or 16. And I did that like 3 times a day or something like that. And I did it for about a week, and it feels great down there. Like, it made such a difference. I don't feel like I've got any problems, and I can hold my wee when I need to the toilet, all of that kind of thing. When I sneeze, it's all good. When I cough, it's all good. So do your pelvic floor exercises. There's loads of videos online, way more people who are expert people in pelvic floor areas than me, but that's what I did anyway. This next tip is one that is quite close to my heart, and it's all about connecting with your breath, almost meditating. And I know as mothers of newborns, and you may have other children, you may feel like you've got no time to do this at all. Like, when can you fit in the time? When you can barely fit in the time to sleep in amongst the feeding and waking up and all of this kind of thing. So one of my little tips is to set aside one of your feeds with your baby. So instead of doing your pelvic floors or going on Instagram or doing whatever you do during the feed, set aside that feed that you're going to connect with your breath. Just simply connect with your breath. And just have a moment to just close your eyes, as long as you know that your baby is safe. Just close your eyes and just connect with the inhale and exhale of your breath. And as you breathe in and allow your belly to expand. As you exhale, allow your navel to draw back towards the spine and let go through your mouth. So inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And every time a new thought may pop into your mind, just allow the thought to pass on by, almost drifting on by like a cloud, and bring your attention back to your breath, just thinking about the inhale and the exhale of your breath. And that is one of my top tips, just to give yourself a bit of grounding, a bit of time for you to just connect to your inner world. It's really nice to close your eyes while you do that, or flicker them open, have a soft gaze. So just give yourself one of the feeds to just connect to your breath without any other distractions or anything else. Next tip, I think I've already mentioned this, but eat plenty and drink plenty. Make sure that the calories are up. You don't want to be trying to think about starting any diets or trying to lose weight and any of that kind of thing at this moment. You need to just be making sure, especially if you're breastfeeding, that the milk flow, the calories are up to help the milk flow come in and good production of that. And The water is great to keep you hydrated, as much for your well-being as well. It helps you to feel better, more clarity of mind, everything like that. So just making sure that you are eating the right things. I mean, to be fair, I say eat the right things. I think for the first month, I had loads of deliveries of chocolate and brownies and all of this kind of thing. So just, yeah, diet kind of went out the window for me. And I just ate what people gave me, which involved a lot of chocolate. But yeah, just make sure that you're giving yourself exactly what you need, a balanced diet, all good. Okay, so I've put here, treat yourself to a couple of staples to wear that will see you through this time as your postpartum body gently journeys back to a new kind of normal. This is really important, and I've just given birth 2 months ago, and it's only now that I'm really, okay, I'm kind of getting sick of my maternity clothes. I'm nowhere near fitting in my pre-maternity clothes. So I'm really itching to just wear a normal pair of jeans. So I've bought myself a couple of pairs that are pretty cheap. So I know that I'm not spending an arm and a leg on clothes that I'm literally going to hopefully just be wearing for a few months. And I'm actually going to do a video soon on postpartum clothes and just buying a few staples to wear. But if you're watching this and it was quite a while ago, then just have a look. H&M have some great jeans. They've got the Conscious range, and quite a lot of the shops now are doing this Conscious range, so you know that you're not just buying things that is not doing any favours for the planet either. But yeah, it helps you to feel good more than anything. Just having a few pieces of clothes that aren't maternity clothes and that feel normal help you to feel good. So yeah, just treat yourself to a few things. You have every right. You've been through all this. It's your body that is changing. It's not your fault. So just buy a few clothes that are maybe slightly bigger in size. You can pass on, sell them again, who knows, you know, but it does make you feel better. I definitely feel better in myself that I can wear a normal pair of jeans, even though the 2 sizes bigger than my other ones, it doesn't matter. It just feels nice to wear a jeans and a jumper, and I've actually got them on now, so I'll show you them. So they're just these, and yeah. Sleep when you can. Yeah, they always say sleep when the baby sleeps, but as you know, as a mother, well, if you're anything like me, I'm like, well, while the baby sleeps, I can be doing this, 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 and this. And if I sleep, then that means that those jobs are still there, and then more jobs will start to stack up. Well, you know, sleep is so important. So if you are really needing sleep right now, give yourself that gift of sleep when the baby sleeps. Or even if it means going to bed earlier. So instead of going to bed at like 10, you go to bed at 8 when the baby maybe goes to sleep, and have 2 hours then before the baby wakes up for its next feed. Or in the morning, instead of getting up at 7. Normally, well, if anything like mine, all of mine have generally needed another sleep straight away, and then they get up at 10. So give yourself now and again that time of getting up at 10, or if it's your first, then definitely just soak it all up. I remember with Hugo, often I get up at 11 in the morning because he'd wake for like a 6 o'clock feed, and then he'd go back down until about 10 o'clock in the morning. So I would go back down with him. That went out the window when I had Remy, because of course Hugo was already up, raring to go for the day. So I had to just be up at that normal early time. But if you can, lap it up, get that sleep in. It's glorious, and I enjoyed it so much. Okay, this is just a little tip if you have other children, just to get them involved. Just get them to help you with jobs. So if you're changing the baby, ask them to, oh, could they go and get the wipes? Could they get this? Could they get the changing mat out? You know, different things like that. Get them involved so they feel important and like they are looking after the baby as well. That has really helped with the bonding process, and for them to know that they're still really needed and wanted. And yeah, it's really, really hard, because sometimes they love them so much, and they're constantly wanting to squish them and cuddle them and hold them, and you know, the baby's been prodded left, right and centre by my kids and they're always like, can I hold them? No, I want to hold them. And it's just, you find this little balance of what starts to work, the language that you know that they respond better to. So, you know, I spoke to them both about how they need to be really gentle, as light as a feather and this kind of thing, and encouraging them and being like, oh, thank you, he really loves you, doesn't he? And you really love him, you've been a great big brother, aren't you? You're really looking after him. These little words and things, and it all helps. And you know, recently I found that, especially Remy, he's the middle child, I feel like he has maybe been acting up a little bit. So I've really tried to focus more of my attention on him, just to give him a little bit more time and bring the baby into his room. We play in his room, and you know, the baby can just be on a mat, and give Remy a little bit more one-to-one time, especially now that I feel like I'm all healed and I can sit on the floor and do all these kind of things. And if you've got any other tips in this area, I would love to receive them. Drop them below, because I think as mothers of multiple children, it's really good to have these tips on what's worked for you and all of this kind of thing. Yeah, so feel free to share all your tips below. Thank you. Next tip, to have white noise playing. You can get apps with white noises, or we just play it through Spotify actually. I've just got this little one with me now because he just needs a feed. But yeah, white noise is so good for the babies because they're so used to all these different noises in your room. So yeah, it's only normal for them to not be in complete silence. So if you can have white noise, we just play ours through Spotify. There's loads of different various places you can find white noise on all the apps and different things. So yeah, get white noise on. And actually, me and my husband, we find that it really helps us to sleep as well. So you soon get used to it, and then it'll soon become a thing that you really enjoy sleeping to as well. And one of the last tips I want to give you, as many of you may know, I'm a self-love coach, so I help women to really step into who they really are, to love themselves from the inside out. And I work with women to really help heal that relationship with themselves. And when you give them birth, this is such a massive part of your journey, learning to love yourself and how your body is changed, and loving your body as it changes as well, and being so kind to yourself. So one thing I really would love for you to do, if this is you and you've just had a baby or you're about to have a baby, remember this. Look in the mirror. Look at your beautiful body. Yes, it has changed, but look how amazing it is. You grew a tiny human. Thank your body. Say how beautiful your body is. Speak kind words to your body. Do not be saying anything derogatory towards yourself, anything negative. You are a goddess. You are a queen. Say that to yourself. Say you are beautiful. Thank you. Hold yourself so softly. When you're in bed and you can see your stomach, your belly, hold yourself and say thank you. You've done an amazing job. And just be so kind to yourself. I know it's really hard because you may look really different and you may have a lot more of you to love right now than you are used to, but learn to love yourself just as you are now. And if you feel like you're really far from doing this for yourself, then, you know, I've got She Rises in Self-Love. That is one of my other healing and transformation courses where I work really closely with the women who join. And we go on a really in-depth journey of really healing and deepening your relationship with yourself. I'm just jumping on with another tip that I completely forgot to mention in the video, and it's a tip that I always say to new mums. And it's this. I'll first tell you a story. It was when I first had my first child, Hugo, and I was in the hospital and I needed the toilet and Hugo was crying. But you know, when you've just had a baby, you can't really feel so much, you don't have so much control over your bladder. So I needed to go when I needed to go. The midwife caught me in this dilemma. She could see it on my face and she said to me, look, you go to the toilet, the baby, Hugo will still be here when you get back. You're literally going to be a few seconds. He's safe, he's there, you know, and it's what babies do. They cry, you know. And it was just like that like permission slip for me to go and see to my needs, go to the toilet when I needed it, and then you can have all this time with your baby. And it's this kind of essence of, you see it all the time, this quote, happy mum, happy baby. And it's true, you know, look after your needs as well as the baby. And, you know, it would have been, had I have not gone to the toilet, I would be trying to settle him, really bursting for the toilet and trying to put him down. Whereas, you know, I attended to my needs. It took all of about a minute or something like that. And then I had all this time for Hugo. So it's just to remember that for yourself. When you're in those little dilemmas where you really need to do something for yourself and your baby also needs you at the same time, you know, weigh up how long it's going to take you, attend to your needs, attend to your baby's needs, but don't just like pass off your needs. You are important as well. Yeah. So that wraps up all the tips from me. I do have other tips, but I know they're definitely in this other list that the other mums have included. So I will read through those now, and these are from mums all across the world. So thank you so much for all these tips that you're now going to be sharing on to all these mothers across the world. I'll just begin now by reading through them. Okay, so celebrate the tiny triumphs: eating, having a wash, getting dressed. And yes to that. Like, some days even just getting dressed is a triumph in itself. Brushing your teeth, having breakfast and things like that, they all feel like, wow, I've been able to do that today. Next one, stay in bed and bond. Don't worry about trying to bounce back quickly. 100% agree with this, and I've definitely shared that already in the video, how important that is. There is no bouncing back. You are you. Your body never left you. Your body is yours. Embrace it as it changes, as it goes on this new journey, and accept it for all that it is. It's magnificent and beautiful, and there is no bouncing back to do. You are you, and you are going on this new journey now, postpartum. Take care of yourself as well as them, especially if you have more than one. Yeah. Be kind to yourself. Enjoy the sleepy newborn cuddles whilst they last. Because yes, they don't last forever, so you have to soak them up. All those sleepy, yeah, you can't get that back, so just embrace it. Embrace it as much as you can. Honestly, I felt like that's all I did, and I wish that I'd embraced it even more. So you can never have too many cuddles. Trust your gut instinct, mum instinct. I wish I had the confidence to do this as a first-time mum. Yes, so I haven't mentioned this because this comes up quite a few times. Mother's instinct. Definitely trust that. You have it. It's within you. And often you know what it is because you're asking someone, what do you think I should do in this situation? You've already got an answer within. And sometimes, you know, our confidence and our ego wants approval for that, but you can give yourself that approval. So just trust that and go with your gut instinct. And sometimes, even if you're not sure if something is wrong or, you know, whatever, it's good to get peace of mind. So go to the doctors. Don't feel like you're wasting the midwife's time, the doctor's time. If you've got a concern and you just want it, just checking over, go with that. I'm a big fan of, if I'm worried about something, even if it's with me or my children or anything, I'd rather just go and get it checked out, so then it's not playing on my mind. Because also, you know, the power of manifesting, when you're worrying about something, sometimes you worry about it that much that it actually happens. So you don't want that to happen either. So get it out your mind, go and get it checked over, know that there's nothing to worry about and that you can just relax and let go. And never feel you're wasting anyone's time. And what about if there's nothing to worry about, you've been to the doctors and blah blah blah. Yeah, just go and get it checked out. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, get a nanny, lol. Yes, I love that. That is one of my dreams, to have like a housekeeper to take care of all the jobs and make dinner and things like that. That would be the dream. People will always offer their thoughts, but remember, it's your baby and your journey. Yes, love those words of wisdom. Say no to visitors and stay in bed all day if needed. Yes. Don't feel pressured to do anything that doesn't feel right. Soak it all up in your own time. Yes. And definitely, sometimes the midwives or someone might say, oh, why don't you go out for a walk? And you might not feel ready. So just listen to yourself. If you don't want to have a check, you know, a vaginal examination or whatever, know that it's your every right to say no, and just go with what feels right for you and speak up, and don't be afraid of doing what feels good for you. Don't stress how much or when they are feeding or eating at first, just follow their lead. Yeah, that's a great one. Just feed the baby when the baby shows that it wants feeding, and even if you're not sure, just offer them the bottle or the boob, and you'll soon know if they're hungry or not. And even if they've just fed half an hour before that, it's fine. Babies often just suckle away little and often, and it doesn't matter. Just follow their lead, offer it as much as you want, as feels good. And you know, because I do remember that sometimes, you know, different friends or family might say, didn't you just feed them like 15 minutes ago? But like, yeah, but I don't think they're maybe completely full. And you have to second guess yourself, because you're going to offer them food again when it looks like they've just had a feed, but they might not have fed for as long. So yeah, just ignore all that and feed when the baby feeds. And even if they're not hungry when you're offering the bottle, you'll know. And it's all about figuring it out and just seeing what happens. And sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. Relax, listen to your body, take it slow, limit visitors and follow your gut. Be kind to yourself and give yourself time to adjust. Don't push your body, it'll set your recovery back. And yeah, that's a big thing. Don't put too much stress on trying to exercise and do this and that. Just let your body heal, and your body will thank you for it later. And then later you could probably push yourself more in your exercises than you would have been able to if, you know, if you started exercising sooner. So yeah, just allow your body to heal and then get back into your exercise. That's my motto anyway. I need to actually start doing some things now. I am feeling ready, but it's just about creating the time for myself. Plan and prepare before the baby arrives, how each segment will look and how you can be supported. Yeah, so that's like I was saying, ask different family and friends if they can make you meals, if whoever can help with the house and get washing done and all of that kind of thing. Prepare for that. Trust your instincts and take people's advice with a pinch of salt. I found baths really helpful to relieve engorgement and gently wash stitches. Yes. Stop comparing yourself to other new mums. Yes, this is a massive one. You know, if you've got friends who have just given birth at the same time, try and refrain from asking the questions like, oh, how did your baby sleep, and getting into the sleep talk and if they can turn yet, if they can smile yet. Like, it just, every baby's journey is different, every mother's journey is different, and sometimes those questions will switch on a comparison flick inside your mind, and you don't want that. Just allow any comparison to let go. This is your journey, and yeah, just embrace that. That all children eventually do these things eventually anyway, so there's no rush. And you know, even especially third time round, you know, it just said I had no memory left then, so sorry, there's a little interval there. I can't remember where I was up to, but yes, it was just to say don't compare, just go and follow your own beautiful journey. Feel it all, go with your emotions, and know that everything is temporary. Yes, we've spoken about that as well. Embracing all your emotions. Take it easy, little step by step, no matter how many dirty dishes or laundry or kids you have. Yes. PJs for a week. 100% yes. Yes, that's totally what I did. I didn't get out of my dressing gown for about a week, I don't think. Pour water down there at the same time as you pee, especially if you have stitches. I can imagine that would be really soothing. Write a couple of weeks off in your mind so you can give yourself the grace to recover and connect. Baths, 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 so healing. 100% yes to that. Use the nipple shields to breastfeed, they are the best. I wish I had been told from the get-go that they want to be near you and why they want to be held. Hold the baby in the middle of the night, all day long. Hold them because you're their comfort. Yeah, we've spoken about that. Just hold them for as long and as much as you want to. Take your entitled you time rather than waiting to be offered it. And take it slow and be patient with yourself. Amazing. I love all those tips and so valuable. So I hope that this really helps you to take on board what you need to do and what's the most important, and that's you and your baby and your bonding and your connection. So take it slow. Embrace this time. You will not get it back. I mean, look at the size of him. He's 2 months. You are not a newborn anymore, are you? It's gone way too fast, but I'm so glad that I soaked up that time. And honestly, we basically stayed in bed for 2 weeks, and then after that it was just around the room, and then that's when I had to, the week after that was when I had to start picking up doing the school runs. So yeah, I will leave the links to the other supporting materials that I think would be really good. I'll try and find the breastfeeding video and the links to the books, The First 40 Days. And yeah, I think that's everything. And if you have any other amazing tips to share for all these wonderful women who are going to be watching this video, then please share below. I've got lots more information on my prenatal membership, Empower Your Pregnancy. I'll leave the link to that below. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and I will see you again very soon.